Very good morning to one and all present here. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all for the 5 days webinar series on computational intelligence conducted by the Department of Computer Science and Engineering of Kamaraj College of Engineering and Technology. Our college is a 22 years old private self-financing engineering college. We are accredited by NAC with the A grade, and ours is an autonomous institution. Our college offers 10 UG programs, 11 UG programs, 6 PG programs, and we have 7 research centers in the college. Department of Computer Science and Engineering is accredited by NBA, and our department offers 2 programs, BE Computer Science and Engineering and BTech Artificial Intelligence and Data Science. My first and foremost welcome goes to our resource person, Mr. A.C.A. GOPALA KRISHNAN. Welcome you, sir. And our sincere and warm welcome to all the participants who are here to attend eagerly this technical project management webinar, even at this pandemic time. Welcome you all. At this juncture, I would like to thank our management, secretary, principal, all faculty of CSE department for their guidance and support to conduct this event a great success. My sincere welcome to the coordinators and all the people who are helping the coordinators here. Let me give a brief introduction about the chief guest. Mr. A.C.A. GOPALA KRISHNAN is a product engineering leader with over 15 years software and integrated platform industry experience. He is working currently as a technical project manager in HID Global, Sydney, Australia, and he has worked in Honeywell, where he held various positions in software and hardware product development. Sir, we are eagerly waiting to hear your valuable lecture. The stage is to you. Welcome, sir.
Thanks. Thanks for offering me these opportunities, and appreciate it. And I hope everyone have a very well morning and safe. As just like housekeeping ideas, in case if my audio is not clear, you can chat through that.
Sir, excuse me. Sir, yes, excuse me. Can you increase your volume, sir? Your it is very.
My volume is very low.
Make it little bit louder.
Okay, is it very low now? Is it better now, ma'am? Okay. Okay, madam. Is it good now?
Now it's okay, sir. Now it's okay.
Okay, madam.
Thank you.
Thanks, madam. Okay. Probably due to this bandwidth issue, probably when I'm doing a screen share, I'll switch off my video in case if you have any bandwidth issues. Of course, I don't want to introduce myself as madam has introduced me. During session, if you have any questions, please put your question in the chat window. Of course, by end of the sessions, we try to cover it up. So though we have very short time, we'll try to jump into that session straight away. Feel free if you have any questions in between. Let me share my screen. Just trying to hope everyone can see my screen. Guys, thanks all for joining these sessions, and I'm really happy to share my experience with you all. Let's jump into that session. today. Technical project management. Of course, project management is one of the key area which we essential in every organizations. It's including IT or maybe non-IT. But currently in IT, it's kind of a project management. It's kind of it's become very more and more popular. Without project management, you may not be able to run all projects. So what I'm going to cover in this today's sessions, I'm going to cover it's kind of before getting into a project management, I'm trying to give an overview about project and programs and portfolios, which means what is a project and what we are doing it, why we are running it, and what sort of methodology we do have for projects. Also constraints and the project management process groups, and what is a project manager, what are the key talent project manager should have, including technical side and everything, and project management tools and recent trends. So these are the topic I'm going to cover. So I'm going to run through project and then project management and then project management tools and topic there. So as introduction, project, just I want to cover a bit of on the project as well before I'm getting into the project management. Project is a kind of a temporary endeavor. It's a temporary, you have a very clear start and end date. You provide a unique service or product or result. That's a project. Often people get confused with the project and program and project coordination, everything. But before you get into the project management, you need to understand what is the project it is. The project is create a unique products. That's a project. And when coming to the project management, it's nothing but how you are driving the project by using your knowledge, skills, tools, technique, and meeting the goals and the objective. That's a project management. So the two aspects, project and project management. So here we are going to just a bit about project, and then we are going to deep dive into the project management side. When talk about project, in a simple definition, what we can say, it is driving the changes, which means say today one state, by end of the project, that state, it gets into a different state. So to achieve the future state, we are creating a project. It can be either of the one, it's IT or non-IT, doesn't matter. You are changing value from one to others. That's a project. So that's like a simple understanding. Coming to the project organizations, why we do the project organizations is typically why we are doing a project, where the project is being driving it. So before getting to that, let's as IT corporate, you need to understand behind the other aspects as well. Just from this pyramid, you might see the visions and strategies. Let me quickly give an example of visions and strategies. See, example vision is as I'm an IT company. I want to create maybe a stable and more secure product. My company product should be the number one place. That's my vision. That's my ultimate goal. The strategy is to drive the vision, how I'm going to achieve that vision. It's kind of a long-term strategy, short-term strategy. It's kind of a goal. It's a high-level goal, not individual goal, high-level goal. And the portfolio is to make sure, whether I'm running a right project or right programs. So under portfolios, you can run a programs and projects. So here's the key concept. Programs, it can include with your service operations and maintenance, monitoring, everything it comes under programs. But project is, it's ultimately you are getting some delivery. Either it can be a product or service or result, doesn't matter. You are getting something out of that with certain time and certain cost, certain quality. That's a project. So if you look into this pyramid, this project, typically it's out comes of deliveries, and the programs is taking a benefit of the project. Say example, I'm developing a product. That's a project. I'm developing a product. I finished, I hand over. That's it. My project is completed. But after development is done, the product has to market and release to customer, get money, and just do a calculation, everything, how we are getting that business value. That comes to into programs. Whether I'm doing the right project or not, that is controlled by portfolios. The way I'm moving it, what sort of a product and my roadmap is there, that is controlled by strategy. And vision, it's controlled my ultimate goal. This is actually kind of a project organization, so you have to understand a bit more onto that one. Coming back to methodology, of course, I'm sure all of you might knew that this methodology you might have studied, but I would like to bit touch base on each and item, like now how we are doing it, because this is a key essential when we are driving a project, project management as well. So the predictive is nothing but it's a waterfall method. It's a own traditional method. Everyone knows it. It's kind of a step-by-step process, and you're getting and into the project and delivering it. So in terms of project management side, it is a very simple and easy because we knew that what you're going to deliver. So in terms of my project management side, it's become more easy when I'm going with the waterfall method, but it does not accommodate in all scenarios. You can't apply in all scenarios because the nature of the project requires certain characteristics. So we have to choose how we are, which approach we are doing it for each project. When coming to an iterative, it's kind of like a simple like an example as a product development. A product development means iterative, just I'll be a single delivery. I'll mark my delivery date, certain date my product needs to be delivered, and on the date I will be delivering it. Of course, why it's iterative is because my first version it contains some of them, another one it's kind of a one delivery, that's it, close and back. That's iterative process, which means I'm releasing my product until it works perfectly. It's fixing issues and everything, going to quality and issue fixing and delivering it. It's all iterative process over there. And incremental, it is like a website development. You would say, okay, in my first phase, I'll deliver to you. It has only landing page. Second phase, I'll be delivering you. It has a login and it has a reports. It's kind of incremental. You are just keep incrementing it, set by set features. In this case, project management, what are the techniques you are differ? So each approaches the project management techniques differs, and how you are driving the project is it's critical there. Because if you don't know how your project is running it, you don't know your vision, you don't know your goal, you don't know what approach you are need to experiment for the project, then it's very hard to succeed on the projects. So of course, all you might know agile, it's kind of a repetitive until you get kind of a small changes, you admit all of the changes into the agile. This is like a kind of a pictorial representations. If you look into that, the frequency of delivery in the incremental and agile, it's going to be high, and degree of change, its agile is high, and the incremental is low. Which means, say example, when I define my product development, when I define any projects, when I define my approach, incremental, which means I define my scope the day one, but during my project, I divide into phase. First phase, I deliver 5 scope. Second phase, I'm delivering another 5 scopes. So that's kind of incremental. But agile is, it adapts changes. So you develop and show to customer, seek the feedback, and adapting to that, and validate and adapting to that, and then giving back. And often, we get misunderstood. Agile means accepting all changes. It's not that. We can't accept all changes, because in terms of project management side, if you accept all changes, it's hard to uh, achieve your goal. You have to be kind of more cautious, your schedule, time, quality, everything. So it play vital role over there. So just to understand, this is a process of project management side. And these are the constraints in the project. You have scope, quality, and risk, and resource, time, and cost. So a little bit of course, everyone know that, because the terminology, what you are going to see in this presentation, all technologies are known terminologies. All project management techniques, everything is a known terminology, which means scope means you can clearly understand scope. That's it. But as a project management, when we say technical project management, how we are capturing the scope, how we are analyzing the scope, how we are aligning the scope into my objective. So that's played a vital role. We'll talk about in the later slide. So in this constraint, when I'm running any project, these are the key constraint it's going to come. So as a project manager and management side, I need to know how to tackle it. Each one are important, but based on your experience, based on the circumstance, you choose one of them or some of them. So because if you say example, if you select like a scope, of course it's going to affect your time and your cost. And sometimes if you want to quality, it's going to affect your again cost. So resource needed, everything is going to be there. So how you take the decision based on your project management experience and tools and technique, you can take the decision over there. So which I have to run it. So it's in order to succeed the project, you have to understand behind as a project, what is it's driving it, what is your objective, what is your ultimate goal to reach it. So where to do it. It's a time to market is the critical, or quality is the critical. Because say example, my organization vision is by end of this year, I need to deliver a product to generate $50 million. That's my revenue. That's my ultimate goal. But the project manager, you define, okay, so I need to deliver a product with quality, and you define keep constraint about quality, and you are not meeting the time, then you're not achieving your organization visions, and you're not achieving the objective. So that's the reason you have to understand on the project management side, you need to understand about the project and the nature of the project and nature of that other characteristics, and then you can apply your project management skill and technique. This is a project management process group. I'm sure all of you might seen already in any one of the topic in your studies. So project initiation and planning and execution, control and monitoring. These are the PMI phases. Like a project, there's a different type of organizations there in the project management side. The PMI, which is majorly operated from the US and of course in all nations. Also Prince2 and other project management methodologies are there. But this project management group is it's basically it's derived from the PMI one. So here I'm going to talk about say as a project manager, I used to spend more time with the initiation and planning rather executing and closing. Because if I'm doing say example, I'm spending more time on the executions, I may be kind of a project delivery manager, or maybe I'm a project coordinator. But if you're a project manager and if you are doing a project management skill effectively, you would be spending more time on the initiation and planning. So these are the tools, a lot of tools are there, and I'm sure nothing is new to you. But how you are defining it, how you are utilizing the tools, that's a key over here. An example case, project charter. A project charter is nothing but like a business case, like kind of an initial key document, which captures all your what's your business need, what's your revenue plan, what's your ultimate goal, how to do it, and kind of a high level you will be discussing it. What are the critical features to achieve it? Those type of issues we will be discussing in the project charter. Assumes that when you're running into the project execution, if you feel that there's some change in the project charter, which means you have to close the project and start a new project, because project charter is kind of a key to define your project goal. If something change is required in the project charter, then you are changing the project. And similarly, these are the techniques. Say project management plan means all your integrations, all your type of project management, how you are managing it. And Gantt chart, communication plan, risk management, we'll talk about in the next slide. But when I'm doing this, coming back to this process, say, as I mentioned, this is the overall time in my project. But in the project management, as a project manager, I used to spend initiating and planning side. So where this initiating planning will give a clear understanding about how the project has to go. Because during initiation phase, I'll find out what are the approaches I should do it and how I'm going to do that. So typically, this is a kind of a initiating and planning project management side. As a project, let's say example, I'm doing initiation and planning and execution, monitoring, controlling, and closing. So these are the 5 stages of the project. The project management technique you apply in all phases. Of course, in even execution also you apply some techniques and do it. But what is the important over here? It is, say example, when I start my project, my uncertainty, risk, and questions, a lot of things it's going to be there. But the project, once I'm finishing my planning, that risk and uncertainty and questions, unknown area, gray area, everything has to come down. If this line is still straight, which means you're not running the project in an appropriate way. So this help you to understand, when you get into the project management, you have to more spend on the initiation and planning rather than doing it executing and then controlling side. Just I want to talk about here. What is the project manager? It's a simple example, technical side. In a non-technical side, it's an orchestra conductor. Still, it's it's a project manager. What he is doing it, he has to prepare what needs to be done in which order, and what are the efficient, how I can efficiently utilize my resources and deliver that music, and what needs to done and when has to done, when I had to ramp up and when I had to down. So these are the technique he has to apply it. But having said that, this is a coordination, or it's a coordinator, or it's a project manager, because coordinator means you're arranging all people into the hall, putting up chairs and make sure that all are there and just giving that. That's a coordinator, you're doing it. But whereas a project manager, he has to apply his skill. He has to know, okay, I need to, if I ramp up, what sort of result I'm going to get? If I'm ramp down, what sort of result I'm going to get? So these information, these technical idea, he has to know that. An example case is a project manager need not to play all this an instrument. And similarly, if you talk about an IT term, if I'm running a project, do I need to know every technology? In my project, I may use Node.js, AngularJS, in DB scripts, and maybe some people using Oracle DB, and some people using just like a JavaScript. So a lot of technology we might use it. But as a technical project manager, should I be an expert into all area? The answer is no. But I need to aware of all those areas and its outcome. I need to be command into the position which technology to be used and where to be used. But I cannot be a kind of expert. I don't play, I don't execute, I don't go and develop it. But still, I need to know as a project manager what sort of things, what sort of result I'm going to get, and how I'm going to utilize it. Because if we don't know what you are going to do, or if you don't know how you are going to get that, of course, your result is not going to achieve it. Then you become just like a result, or like a coordinator. Like still you are just coordinating multiple things and then just like delivering something. But as a project manager, you have to identify what sort of my object, how I need to get the result, how I need to apply my skills. So that's a project manager side over there. When we talk about like the PM space of influence, in PMs, like typically you might seen that this triangle as well: scope, time, cost, quality. This is a typical result, because these are the key concerns, like a key area. Every project manager needs to know that. The quality, currently, I would say kind of it's a customer satisfaction. Means what sort of time you need to deliver it, how much is cost you are going to spend, how much revenue you are going to get it, and what sort of a scope and how it's driving the business values. So this is every project manager has to know that. And so if you can't meet your objective, if you don't know your objective, you don't know how to meet your objective, of course you can't win your project. Also, when you're why it is always is a triangle is means like it's not a straightforward one, because you need to know how to manage and you need to know balance between in these characteristics, and you have to execute it. So when you are balancing it, so that's how you are applying your technical skills and knowledges and doing it. When I'm talking about technical skill, again, I want to reiterate, technical skill is nothing but your knowledge into the areas, how you are driving it. But it's not like a coding skill. It's not like your core technical skill. Of course, that's required certain extent, but it's the technical tools, how you are applying it. That is the technical knowledge is required. Let me take some more time on this slide. This is a knowledge area. If you look into that in your left-hand side, these are the knowledge areas. It's important, required for project manager. If you had a glance, nothing is unknown terminology, like a resource, scope, schedule, everything is kind of a known terminologies. And when you talk about quality, yes, it's a quality. Everyone knows that what is a quality. But as a project manager, I have to understand these are the knowledge areas. So these knowledge areas are kind of a project management knowledge area. So I'm a project manager and I'm getting into the project management. Then I need to have these are the knowledge area so that I can apply into my projects and succeed. So integrations. Previously, I've said project coordinator can't be as a project manager, and he or she can't apply project management techniques. But why we are again saying that coordinate activities? Coordinate activities, it's not a bit and piece of activities. We don't do that. We coordinate between. When I get into the execution, I have to apply it. I have to make sure that what I plan that has been executed or not. So that coordinations between the process and areas, it's called as integrations. So you have to know that, because before I'm getting to that, like say example, if someone asks you to develop a website, don't like know how I need to go to the website. So I have to create a requirements, and requirement is drivers. Okay, what are the requirements required? What is the key goal? Why you have to create a website? And what sort of things you have to involve into that? What sort of customer you are going to try to attract to? And then you are applying plannings. Okay, this is which technology you are going to use it, and then you are going to plan it. So that's kind of a coordinations required for the integrations one. And the scope, it's a very, very important one when I'm when you're doing the project management side. The scope is so it's like a key goal to achieve your project. So always scope is drives everything. Based on the scope only, you are going to be a quality or risk or your time cost, everything it's derived from scope. Your scope is less, of course my time and cost is going to be less. If my scope is high, of course my more development resources required, more quality plans required, everything is there. So in order to manage your project, the scope, it's important to what. Again, when you talk about the technical project management side, how you can effectively manage your scope, you need to understand what sort of a scope is required for what, why it is required. It can be really required or not. What is the alternative? How we can make it simpler? So you need to know that. That's then only you can drive it. And schedule, it's again to in order to achieve a project, how we are doing it schedule. When talk about schedule in a high level, yes, schedule drive it. Okay, start date is today, end date is tomorrow. That's maybe a schedule. But in detail, okay, today how much effort I need to spend, and what is the worth of my effort? How I'm earned value. So today I'm spending say 5 resources and $100 and it equal to $1,000, and I'm spending $1,000, and what is my earned value today? And out of my end of my project, what is my one? So that's schedule and cost. It is going to be kind of how effectively you're managing it. Again, I'm just repeating here. You are just coordinating means whatever the input you there, you just managing it. That's a coordinations. But as a project management, you have to apply it skill and to drive it and keep it control schedule, and you have to forecast. Okay, this is what my schedule, this is what my forecast, this is what my risk, so that I am going to execute it. So that is derived and schedule plan and cost plan. And quality, of course, quality is what sort of typical product quality is required. What is the quality is driving by customer satisfactions. And most of time, even I was played multiple roles in the software development side. I've been into the as a developer. Also, I've been into quality test leader as well. But when you go for a quality, it is derives towards customer satisfaction. Of course, when I was in test leader sometime, even developer as well, what we do is, okay, it's called inbound outbound criteria. We just click and we do test. It's working, bugs are coming up, crashing it, we fixing it, closing it. That sort of quality we always drive it. But when you get into the project management side, you have to understand how best you are satisfying your customer needs. That drives a quality plan. That's what the project manager has to drive it. As typically if I'm a software quality leader, what I do is I develop based on my requirements, and I'm driving my test cases, and I execute my test cases in and around. When I do a test cases, I'm going with the non-functional and functional security and qualities and other stuff, and deliver. I get some issues and bug fixes, and again reiterate and clear and release it. That's a typical way of doing a quality. But if you go with the technical project management side, I need to know if I'm going to deliver this product, who's going to use this product, and what sort of outcome of delivery, how I'm satisfying it. Customer may not know all those issues and bugs and everything, but how best you are satisfying your customer. Is that being tested? Is that being addressed? That is the quality management plan. It's nothing like your test cases. You're nothing. You are not checking your requirements. That's a typical quality management plan. But from a project management side, you need to prepare that one. And of course, resource means like who has to do what needs to be done. That's type of resource management plan. You're doing it. And the communication. The communication is it's a very important role for a project manager. Its communication is nothing but when you are communicating and what you are communicating it. And most of the projects may get failed by lack of communication. When I mean lack of communication means it's not like the way you present, means you're not giving the right information at the right time and the right people. That's communication is going to be key essential. So when I'm going to be a project management side, I used to prepare a communication plan, which means, okay, who's key stakeholders in what one? If I'm getting some issues, whom I should communicate, who's the key stakeholders, who has to approve it, and who has to send the status report, who has to get a sign off. So this is a communication plan. So that is the technology, that is the knowledge you are going to utilize it. Of course, say example, if I'm if I don't know what is the issue, if I don't know where to communicate, and still you are sending to someone, still you are failing it. So the communication plans drives in that manner. It's going to help the project management side. And the risk plan, of course, you identify the risk and then you forecast the risk and then work with the risk and then mitigate the risk. That's a way you work on your quality, cost, time, and everything. But in order to succeed your project management skill, you need to have these knowledges, technical and strategic and leaderships. When I'm talking about technical, it's communicating, planning, scheduling, budgeting, reporting, meeting. So these are the one, of course, you might have some questions. Why, say, communication, how come it's become a technical? Scheduling, how come it's a technical? So it's nothing but it's a tool, how you are applying into your project, which means, say example, if I don't know the issues, I can't communicate to my team. If I don't know how it's going to work, how efficiently I can communicate to the team, then how they are going to drive it. If I don't know the formulas of scheduling, or if I don't know forecast my estimate, how I can schedule it. If I don't know my business values, if I don't know calculating, if I don't know my number, how I can budget. So it's all kind of in a high level. If you say technical, these are the areas: communicating, planning, scheduling, budgeting, reporting, meeting. These are the areas you have in your technical side. But underneath, you are applying your technical knowledge onto each one, and you are applying your tools on each sections and then delivering the results. When talk about strategic and business management. So strategic and business management, what it is, strategic and business management. Of course, you might knew that all project manager most probably could be like a diplomatic people. There should be a diplomatic decision maker. So when I come to strategy and business management, project manager has to know what is the strategy, what is my mission, what is my objective, so that I can deliver to my team. If I don't know what my ultimate goal, and it's very hard to drive that, because again, you're not giving a task, executing it. You are executing your project by using your project management skill. So it's kind of a totally different. When the task, I have a bunch of tasks, I'm giving to 5 people, getting result, tracking, that's a different. But how you are engaging your team, and if I don't know the strategies and how best you can communicate, how best your team member can support, just giving a task and getting it done, it's not going to work out. So that's a strategic and business management is required. So when I'm talking about business management, what is the value proportions on your projects? How you can apply in your project management skill and do that. That is the value proportions. You need to know the business management skill to do it. On leadership, this is one of the important skill and knowledge is required for a project management side. So because as a project manager, you will be dealing with multiple people. You'll be dealing with customers, you are dealing with your product manager, you're dealing with your project sponsor, you're dealing with your project team, and you're dealing with the quality team, you're going to deal with the release team. Everyone, you're going to deal with multiple people. Let's assume that if I'm like a developer, development lead, what I do is whatever my product manager gives as a requirement, I develop and I give to quality team. That's it. My job is done. And in case the quality team has raised some issues or bugs, I'll fix it and give it back. That's it. My done. But when I'm coming to a project manager, they are into a vertical. And horizontally, of course, on each horizontal, each functions, but project manager has to do with each functions and then collaborate and do that. And moreover, with the leadership, of course, there's a big topic when I come to leadership and management. I don't want to get into that big topic for now. But in a simple things, as a project manager, always should be a good coacher. You have to coach your team. And keep in mind that most of the project manager does not have a direct reportees. They do reports to your function. Say example, if I'm executing my project, and of course, project member reports like a quality team reports to quality head, and release team reports to release head. Developer reports to the manager, but still, I used to manage those resources. So that's how you apply your leadership skill. Management skill is something different, and leadership skill is something different. So project manager has to know that what and how you can apply your effective leadership skill to the team. When coming about project management tools and techniques, as I said, if you're going for the typical project management side and like a multiple like technical areas is there, but when I go to technical project management, you need to know when what tool has to be applied. That is called a technical project manager. So which tool, which are the technique you are going to apply? So in order to understand, you need to understand the behind the technical knowledge over there. So just I'm going to talk about the project management tools here, like some of the tools. Of course, it's like I put up some abbreviation, like I did so short term. I'll try to give abbreviation as well. So WBS, it's like a work breakdown structure, which means it divides your project into the work, and then you delegate and you give as a task to some people. That is one of the item in your project. It's not only a full project management side. Gantt chart, it's a kind of a MPP Microsoft project plan. It's like multiple tools is there. It gives you kind of like, all over how you're managing your plan, including your cost, budgeting, schedule, everything it gives you. That's one of the tool. You can experiment as a Microsoft project management or maybe some other tool as well available in the internet. And the PERT, this is a calculation, a PERT calculation. It's kind of like, say example, if you want to estimate something you don't know, how to estimate it. That's a key technique. So it's been derived by like a US Navy people. So something you are estimating it, which you don't know. And say, what is your most reasonable estimate? What's your maximum estimate? And plus divide by into 4 months, divide 0.4 divided by 6. That's a kind of a formula. So that formula gives you to derive your approximate estimate. Project management people believes that this formula works effectively. And your cost management plan, and then your Kanban, it's like this one, it's like some of the Jira tools, like in agile management, it's a Kanban, it's been developed by in the Jira team. there is a multiple tools available in the internet, like a Trello. A lot of tools are there. This gives you how you managing your task. It's kind of a dashboard. It's kind of agile dashboard, which means what I'm doing it when it's kind of a pictorial representations. When I open up my dashboards, it shows that, okay, what I'm doing it now, which is my bottleneck, what is getting it, which is depending which task, who's doing it, and it has been assigned to 5 hours, so it's taking 15 hours. So these are the item you are tracking in a dashboard format. And when you go to the MPP, it's all like a item, put the date and tracking it. But in this agile methodology, like in the dashboard, you drive the task in a dashboard manner. Of course, some of the other techniques and tools like a data gathering, like how you are capturing customer inputs, quality function deployment, how you are converting customers' input into a engineering requirement, how you are capturing your risk register, how you are prioritizing your risk, how the risk is going to affect your project objective. So those things you are talking in the risk register and projects reports, how effectively you are managing your reports and everything. And EVM talk about earned value management, which means how your task planning is giving it. It's like kind of say example, today I'm spending $1,200. How much I'm getting back? So it's a EVM, how we are effectively calculating it. So that's what it's a business going to look from you. Okay, in this IT technical project management side, from my thought process, of course, project management, like a non-technical as well, there's a lot of non-technical project management as well as there. But from an IT point of view, these are the core area we spent time into the project management one. Say, if I want to get into a project manager, do I need to know full coding? No, but you need to have some knowledge about that. Say example, like, how come I can become a project manager? Who can play a project manager role? Who can be a technical project manager? Why I'm calling a technical project manager? Which means I'm doing here, I'm this one, like, I need to know my coding skill, and at least I need to know what they're doing it. Or it could be a functional leader. So previously I can be like, no, I know I'm a business analyst, or maybe I'm a quality analyst. Still I can become a project manager, because when I'm a quality analyst, I know how my software is functioning it, how I'm requirement is capturing it. So then I can still become a project manager over there. Or I need to have a domain knowledge, which I means I need to have, say, IT security knowledge, IT security, how IT security functioning it, how what is the recent trends in IT securities, how it works. And the finance section means which how the financing payment systems, how it works, what are the tools they've been utilizing it. So I need to know that, so I can become a project manager. And of course, a platform and infrastructure side project manager. When talk about TPM, technical project manager, so in all, say it's like a first one, like it talks about, it's a core product development. As a project developer, project manager, I'm developing a project, and here as a value proportion, just I'm delivering some solution to the customer. Still, I can be a project manager. I may play these roles, and if I'm an expert in the domain, I can be a project manager. If I know well my infrastructure knowledge, networking skill, how AWS works, how the VMware works, and still I can be a project manager. So if you talk about, like, even today, if you search any TPM role, technical project manager role in the job search area, of course, they're not going to ask you, okay, whether you know knowledge area, how you communicate, knowledge, how you schedule. They may ask, but it's all essential. But on top of that, they might ask you either one of this area, whether you know some infrastructure side. If I want to appoint a project manager for data center development, I need to know how the infrastructure works. I need to know what are the platform peripherals. So if I'm delivering something like an enterprise sector, I'm delivering some projects to a bank, then I need to know how the finance sector works. Of course, I can't be expert. I don't know how to do that. That's fine. But still, I need to have that knowledge so that I can become a project manager, so that I can call me as a technical project manager. When I'm talking about as a TPM, what sort of work I do it every day in day out on each phases. In the pre-development, what I do is of course, I need to influence the team, which means getting a budget, getting the right resources, or maybe understanding the customer pain points and everything. You have to influence to the team, and you need to well understand your business requirements, and you need to have some idea to analyze that requirement in technical side. When I say technical side, okay, if the requirement comes, you have to find out, okay, what sort of requirement it is, how best we can achieve it, what sort of risk is going to come, and at least you need to have some idea to discuss with your project team. That's what you do in the pre-development side. And during development, of course, I assist team in case the team's coming up with any questions or anything. I need to assist. In case if there's a clarification required from business team, I will get from the team and then give the feedback. And of course, what they're doing it, I need to know the knowledge so that I can review and track and monitor. If we don't know the knowledge, then you can't review. In example case, all those technical areas, what we have seen, we have that skills and everything. You need to know that skill to apply it. Sorry, I'm getting some echo, some noise. It's okay. Okay, so in ultimate, in a one-line story, you are applying your technical skill, which is communicating, scheduling, and monitoring and budgeting everything. In order to do that, you need to have an understanding of in this background. Either it can be that background of projects, that core technical required. When I say core technical, again, I'm repeating it most of the time. They may interpret core technical means it's not a coding skill. It is core technical about the product, about the requirements. And post developments, of course, what you do is how I need to make sure that whether I met my cost, how it is my production operations going on, what is my lesson learned, what is my KPI. Those are the things I'll be doing it in my post development. Okay, so the recent trends. What is the recent trends today? Of course, artificial intelligence. There's a lot of talk about artificial intelligence, and people have a lot of myth, and they do talk a lot of funda over there. But I'm talking artificial intelligence in terms of project management side. How you are managing your project automatically. How artificial intelligence can be applied in your project management. If there's a requirement has been set some priority, how it is getting assigned to the team. That's one of the intelligence. That's what I'm talking about. And still people are exploring it nowadays. I don't want to be a kind of one people sitting and giving a task allocation. Project manager is not a task scheduler. So there is a lot of tool to assign that. That's called as artificial intelligence. And hybrid project management approaches. Of course, in previous slide, you might see that waterfall, iterative, incremental, agile. But nowadays, it's it's all mixed match. It doesn't I'm not approaching one. It's all mix and match. Whatever is required in each phase. Say example, in my requirement side, I may use waterfall. But when I'm going to my execution, I may use agile. It's different things. So it's all hybrid project management. And nowadays, no one uses a single approach. And impact of emotional intelligence. It's about how you are using your intelligence emotionally. It's kind of it's I would say that maybe in the previous slide, we have seen leadership skill or business management skill, which means how you are managing your team with your intelligence. That's key essential over there. And that's how people drive that. And data analytics and numbers, which means when you're driving a project, what sort of number you're getting it, how based on the numbers you are driving your projects. It's not like a based on discussion, everything, just a number only drives the project. And there's a lot of management tool, which I've seen in the previous slide, like Kanban and then CPM and then Microsoft Project Plan. It's all it's the previous tools. It's a